Hello everybody, welcome back to another video where I talk over a game, and today I wanted to talk about group events. Yesterday I went to a work event, and while there were definitely fun elements there, overall I found myself to be very stressed out, and I'm still very stressed today actually. Got a lot of tight muscles in my neck and my back and even on the back of my head, just from overthinking and being a little overwhelmed. So I was thinking, like, what would an event look like if it were made for everybody, not just neurotypicals? First of all, I think the event venue would be somewhere where the acoustics are good, because the place where we were at was very echoey, particularly in the main hall. The sound system they had did not manage to get the attention of everybody else in the room. We were in there like with 400 people, so they were like talking, and then you get this whole buzzing sound of everybody going rah, 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 in the background, but then like much louder than I just did, obviously. And then there's somebody on a stage with a microphone trying to get everybody's attention, and even though you can't quite understand what they're saying because the acoustics are terrible, the audio is loud. I was very, very stressed during that part particularly. So acoustics need to be good. Also, I think there should be less focus on getting everybody to stand around and have drinks and talk to each other, because I know a lot of people like that. But for neurodivergent people, particularly those who are not good at being social, don't really know what to talk about, that is hugely stressful, particularly in an environment where they say, go talk to somebody you've never talked to before. I would think a good alternative to that would be give people options. Like I went to an event a while ago where they had break times in between the main sessions. But during the break time, you could choose to go stand around, have a drink, talk to people, or you could do a little separate session where you just sat on a little stage thing. Well, not a stage, like a bleachers type thing. And then somebody would talk to you about a specific topic for about 10 minutes. And that's also about roughly the length of the breaks. So at the end of that little chat or presentation, you would go on to your next session. And those were completely optional. You didn't have to go there. You could pick one to go to and just do the chatting thing and during the next break, whatever. But give people options so that they can do something or nothing depending on their choice and what they need right there. Another thing that I think would be great is if we had some spaces set aside that were just quiet. So people can hop in and out, maybe have one of the little phone booth things, well, more than one obviously, because otherwise there would be like a waiting list for people to get into this silence cabin thing, or something to just sit and have a moment of quiet and no stimulation from outside. If you could do that in a way that doesn't make it seem weird to other people, like, oh my god, here it goes again into the silence cabinet, my god, what a snowflake or whatever, that would be great as well. So normalize that. Maybe also provide written instructions for certain things, like in that really echoey place that I was talking about at the start of the event. They were trying to explain the rules of a certain game that we were going to play. And the rules were very, very long and kind of complicated. And they were trying to tell us that over this microphone, over a bunch of people that were already talking to each other, which was a disaster. So I understood maybe 30% of the instructions. And during most of the game, I was just kind of wondering, like, what do I do? Because other people are already doing something. I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't have certain pieces of the game. I guess I'll just stand here and occasionally write down a metric or something. Another thing I think would be good is if you have an event where certain people are supposed to talk to each other over an assignment that they're working on, make sure it's more of a round table setup and that there's plenty of space between the tables, because then people can at least have even discussions, round table discussions. We had a rectangular table during one of the sessions, and it was actually a room with like 8 different rectangular tables with 6 people each. The people on one end of the table wouldn't be able to understand the people on the other end of the table because there was so much talking around them going on. And what happened was there's like a couple of people with each table that really like to hear themselves talk. They would be talking. And if you happen to be on the other end of their table, you just wouldn't be able to understand them because the sound would drown them out and you would not be included in the conversation because you would be too far away basically to make yourself heard while not being able to understand what they were saying as well. So make sure that there is an even discussion or a possibility for people to speak on an even level, or try to facilitate that by making it an event where everybody has to do something in order for the event to progress. So everybody has to answer a question, and then that input is needed for the rest of the thing, so everybody gets a chance to say something and be heard. That's very important, because I think neurodivergents often tend to not be heard. We tend to get sidelined because we don't appear to be the same as everybody else, and that means people don't really want to talk to us as much, don't really value our input as much either, and that is very demotivational. As far as food goes, food and drinks, label things very carefully. Like, we had a lunch option, and there was a couple of sandwiches stuck inside of a box next to another box with small sandwiches, like finger sandwiches basically, or bread rolls. One of them clearly had cheese on it. The other one I thought had some type of beef or some type of meat, and that turned out to be salmon. Now, I'm not allergic to fish or anything like that, but I was expecting something else. So when I bit into it, the first thought was, oh no, this is salmon. I'll finish it, but I really wish it was something else. But okay, so that's just one example. And there was also people walking around with trays. So then you get people walking around with mystery food effectively. Because the people that were doing the catering there, like, they can explain a little bit what it is, but they don't have all the information in regards to what was used to produce it. So if you were to ask them, like, does this contain nuts? Was this, like, prepared on a surface which came into contact with other things? They probably wouldn't be able to tell you. So you would probably not want to eat most of that, just to be on the safe side if you had allergies or just textual preferences. So those are just a couple of thoughts on what I think would make an event more inclusive. Pretty sure there are many more things that could be done to make an event more inclusive, but you can put those in the comment section below, so we can make a whole list out of things that people could keep in mind next when they want to organize an event that is okay for everybody to participate in. In the meantime, I want to thank you for listening. I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.